In the summer of 1965, a family set out to spend their first weekend at a newly completed cabin nestled in the picturesque mountains of Crestline, California. What should have been a time of celebration and relaxation turned into an unimaginable tragedy. Their lives were brutally cut short in an act of violence that left a quiet community shaken and investigators searching for answers that elude them to this day. This is the story of the Boles family murder. Hello friends, my name is Marcia, and this is Midwest Murders. In 1965, San Bernardino County was a region of growth and transition. The aerospace industry had a significant presence in Southern California, with companies like Hughes Aircraft integral to the region's economy, driven by Cold War-era advancements in technology and space exploration. The 1960s were a time of significant social change in California. The civil rights movement and growing awareness of inequality brought racial and economic tensions to the forefront. Just days before the murders, the Watts riots erupted in nearby Los Angeles, leading to heightened awareness of civil unrest and inequality throughout Southern California, including San Bernardino County. Nestled in the San Bernardino Mountains, Crestline was an idyllic mountain retreat known for its pine forests and crisp mountain air. The San Moritz area, where the Boles family had their cabin, was a relatively exclusive community, attracting families who wanted a peaceful escape from city life. The area's natural beauty and proximity to Lake Gregory made it a popular spot for vacation homes. However, despite its peacefulness, the proximity to larger urban areas like San Bernardino and Los Angeles meant that Crestline wasn't entirely insulated from crime or social issues. Law enforcement resources were often stretched thin, especially in mountainous regions like Crestline. The sheriff's office had to balance a rising workload from urban areas with the demands of patrolling remote communities and dealing with crimes of increasing complexity. It was against this backdrop that the Boles family decided to spend the weekend in their mountain cabin. James Boles, 43, was an accomplished aerospace guidance engineer in the Space Systems Division at Hughes Aircraft, where he had worked for 16 years. His job often required travel, and he had recently returned from a business trip to Johannesburg, South Africa. His wife, Darlene, 37, also worked at Hughes Aircraft as an electronic assembler in their Fullerton facility. They had recently moved to a comfortable two-story apartment-style home at 15947 Silvertip Court in the patio community of Fountain Valley, California, with their two sons, 13-year-old Bobby and 12-year-old Tommy. The happy, close-knit family had just completed construction on their Alpine-style mountain cabin on Jungfrau Road in Crestline's exclusive San Moritz area, just 15 miles east of San Bernardino, symbolizing a serene escape from their busy lives. They were excited to spend their first weekend in the cabin and had spent Friday and Saturday, August 13th and 14th, moving in furniture. The cabin was not isolated. It sat close to the roadway and within 200 feet of homes on either side, with another home directly across the street. Two large water tanks were 100 feet to the west. To the rear of the cabin was a steep wooded incline. The family was last seen on the evening of Saturday, August 14, 1965, walking through the quaint shops in Crestline Village, enjoying their first weekend at their new mountain retreat. When Monday came and James didn't show up for work, Darlene's brother, Floyd Rice, became concerned. He called Central Control for the San Bernardino Sheriff's Office and asked the deputy to check on the family. Preoccupied with the Watts riots that were threatening to spread to San Bernardino County, the deputy who took the call never sent the message to the Crestline Sheriff's substation. When he did not receive a response back from the sheriff, Floyd decided to drive up to Crestline himself, accompanied by a co-worker, John Wilcoxon. Having never been to the cabin, Floyd stopped to ask directions several times, finally arriving at the cabin at around 5 p.m. What he found would haunt him forever. The front door was unlocked, the boys' shoes were scattered across the living room, and comic books lay on an end table. On the living room sofa was the body of the family dog Barbara, who had been shot multiple times. Floyd raced the 2.5 miles to the sheriff's substation to report what he had seen. When officers arrived, their worst fears were confirmed. Homicide Sergeant William Patterson led the investigation, which found that James, Darlene, Bobby, and Tommy had all been shot to death with a .22 caliber firearm. In total, 42 shots were fired. James and Darlene each had 13 gunshot wounds. Bobby had 8, and Tommy had 3. All 4 were fully clothed, with their bodies found in the bedroom. James lay on the floor with Bobby slumped against a wall. Tommy was on the floor of the closet under a pile of clothes and blankets, with Darlene laying on top of him as if to shield him from the attack. There were no signs of a struggle. A house-to-house search was conducted, trying to find anyone who heard the shots. One neighbor said she had spent a good part of that fateful Saturday night reading a book in the open doorway of her home that was within a short distance of the cabin. She heard nothing. This led police to believe the killer had used a silencer. Investigators discovered .22 caliber shell casings at the scene, along with tire marks and shoe prints outside. The family's red 1962 Dodge Polara was missing, but was later found abandoned just half a mile from the cabin. Police were unsure whether the family had parked it there or if it had been taken during the killings. Partial fingerprints were recovered, but they failed to lead to a suspect. Despite these clues, the case remained frustratingly open-ended. Robbery was considered a possible motive as James' wallet was empty, but other valuables in the cabin were untouched. Investigators cast a wide net, questioning thousands of people who had been in Crestline that fateful weekend or had moved away shortly after the murders. One promising lead came from a security officer who, 8 hours after the bodies were discovered, recalled seeing a man camping in a light-colored station wagon above the murder cabin around the time of the crime. Described as a white male in his early 40s with thinning hair, his vehicle was spotted twice near the Boles home in the days before the murders and parked in their driveway on the day of the crime. Other leads included Robert Frank Laughlin, a 29-year-old parolee from Washington who had reportedly told an anonymous source about the killings before they had been reported to the police. While denying the murders, Laughlin admitted to disposing of a .22 caliber firearm in Lake Arrowhead. Despite searching the lake, police couldn't locate the weapon. Another suspect, Robert Stewart, was linked to other family murders in California and Alabama, but no evidence tied him conclusively to the Boles case. In January 1966, 5 months after the murders, the cabin's locked doors were mysteriously found standing open multiple times. Investigators staked out the property for over a month, hoping the person responsible would return, but they never did. After 31,000 hours of investigation, including 3,000 interviews, this haunting detail, along with the identity of the man in the station wagon, remain 2 of the many unanswered questions in this case. The Boles family was laid to rest at Westminster Memorial Park, mourned by family, friends, and co-workers. Their deaths left a void not only in the lives of their loved ones, but also in the Crestline community. For a town known for its quiet, scenic beauty, the murders were a stark reminder of the darkness that can sometimes hide in the most peaceful places. More than half a century has passed, and the Boles family murders remain unsolved. Who was the man in the station wagon? Who unlocked the cabin doors months later? And most importantly, who committed this horrific crime, and why? If you have any thoughts, theories, or comments on this case, I would love to hear from you. Together, we can keep these memories alive and perhaps one day find the answers that remain elusive. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and may the truth reveal itself in the shadows.